Welcome back to Roommate Confessions. Today we have with us special guest Alex. Alex, great to have you.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of
welcome.
course.
Yeah.
And let's let the viewers out there know you are related to a previous guest we had,
I am, yeah.
Charlotte, who has an upcoming episode next week. So yours will be after hers, which is so hilarious because when she came on, she was like, "You've got to have my husband on here." You think my
Yeah.
shit roommate stories are bad, literally, not figuratively, shit roommates.
That's right.
Remember the shitter?
That's right, yeah.
She's like, "You've got to have Alex." So we're super excited to have you here today.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
She's hyped you up.
All
And
right. Well, hopefully
she's
hopefully
hyped
it
up.
comes
That was
through,
literally the
so.
talk the whole way out the building.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we love her, so we were like, "This is going to be freaking epic."
Yeah.
So super excited to have you on. So tell us just, and the viewers a little bit about yourself.
So I was born and raised in Boise, Idaho.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Just turned 33 this year.
Nice.
yeah.
Happy
And,
birthday.
Thanks. Yeah.
Made it this long?
Yeah, exactly. Super surprising.
Years ago, it reminds me, years ago, I made a commitment to myself on my birthday. I would buy a present for myself, which was a jersey of a player that I liked that had the number of the age that I was turning.
Oh, that's awesome.
So 33, I bought Scottie Pippen.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did you keep all of them?
Yeah, I got them all, yeah.
Yeah, it's-
From when I started, right?
She's like, yeah.
Yeah,
he's
there's a
got 'em
closet
all.
literally full. I
Oh.
didn't know you did that, so now it makes sense.
Yeah, I got a ton
Where the
of
fuck
ton
are all
of
these
jerseys.
jerseys
Yeah.
coming from?
Yeah.
That's
I had to
all.
adapt that one because years before that, I figured I'm going to buy the winning quarterback of the Super Bowl every year. And then when Ben Roethlisberger won it, nope, nothing against Ben Roethlisberger, but the way they won against the Seahawks, I was like, nope, he didn't score a touchdown, not in.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm giving up on that.
Oh,
That's
shit.
funny.
You're
Yeah.
talking over
But
my
anyway,
head now.
side note.
So anyway, so you're from Boise, Idaho,
Yep.
just turned 33, didn't buy yourself a jersey, but may consider it.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
33. Grant Hill, you got
33.
Scottie Pippen, you got
Yeah.
Larry Bird was 33, you got Patrick Ewing. I'm thinking
Yeah.
basketball, right? Obviously, there's other sports.
I love
But
it.
yeah, pick it up, pick up the tradition.
I love it.
Definitely will. I think Charlotte might kill me, but
Yeah, she's like, no. So, okay, so tell us, so you grew up in Boise. How many
Yep.
roommates have you had over the course of your 33 years of life?
Oh wow. To be honest, too many to count.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say ballpark 20 to 30.
Oh, shit.
Wow, that's a good
So you're
amount.
like us.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like a library full of insane stories.
Correct.
This will be
And
good.
a lot of them were 8 to 12 at a time.
Whoa.
So I'd say 30 total. I did live on my own, like a fair amount.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Find out why.
Yeah. Coming soon.
Yeah. So I had, the 20 to 30, but probably in about 5 properties, 6 properties. I don't want to
Oh, yeah.
under exaggerate and make it sound like super overwhelming, but like there was one house that I had 12 roommates.
That's outrageous.
And
Oh
there,
my
but the
God.
crazy part is there was 8 rooms. It was a ginormous house right down there
shit.
next to the co-op, like
yeah.
one of those big, huge ones.
When it was affordable. So you guys were all probably paying $200.
Oh man, yeah, that was like that was the best part. And we had
Yeah.
people like on the couch that weren't like,
Surfing,
They were
couch
paying like
surfing.
$25.
Oh
whatever.
my God. The good old
The
days.
Lost Boys.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
and then
great.
a few apartments, 3-bed once with 3 people, and then, so.
Holy cow. So, and were all of these living situations here in Boise, or have you lived elsewhere too?
So I've lived in Seattle,
Okay.
and that was fresh out of high school.
Oh, wow.
Great.
Okay.
So that was kind of where I had my first roommate experience was like life-changing.
Oh.
And then behind that one, my second roommate experience was absolutely life-changing too.
Like in good ways or bad ways?
Ooh, good and bad. Good
Okay.
in retrospect because I've learned.
Yeah.
But bad because in the moment I was 18, 19 and like really tossed into some pretty heavy, crazy shit that I had no idea
What you were getting into.
to fucking do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I definitely made some bad decisions at those times.
We all have. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so.
All right. So let's work our way up. We can't give the viewers the worst one off the bat. But
One thing I want to ask, in terms of those who may not have lived with, let's say, 12 or 8 people, what's the one thing you would say just to look out for? Like your aha moment you would take away from a massive house filled with a bunch of roommates?
Oh man, definitely each person's cleanliness of their own area, right?
Yeah.
Like shared bathrooms with that many people in a house, like
Ugh.
It's gonna get crazy.
it's gonna be bonkers.
Yeah.
So like, and at that point in my life, I was like, whatever, man, I don't care what the bathroom looks like.
Right.
But I had a really big shock moment when this kid that lived, in the room like right next to me, or two down or something right next to us, like, it was awful. It was terrible. I'm talking fungus, mold, the whole thing.
Oh,
And
God.
he like lived in it.
From food?
You
What do
know,
mean he lived in it? He just never cleaned it.
never cleaned it, and like his clothes, his everything. Like as soon as he left the room, smelled like the room, like all the time,
Jesus.
What
every
was
day.
molding?
Food, leftover, like literally leftover anything. Mostly food.
Yeah.
It was also a pretty like old rundown house too, so that really didn't help.
So
Yeah.
the ants and the
Speed
bugs.
up, yeah, exactly. Sped
all-
up the process a lot.
Ew.
Yeah, there was like a roof over the room and on the corner where I was, and we could come out the window. So like that was how we got away from the smell in the summer, because
Yeah.
obviously in the summer it like
Heat.
yeah,
Then when you go out the window, you're on the following roof.
and we just sit
Neighbor
on our roof.
Yeah.
Next, yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to get a visual.
Ew.
Yeah.
Or not.
pretty
Yeah,
bad.
he
Ew.
kept his room closed because he was in there doing God knows what.
Yeah.
But like it
Growing
was
mushrooms.
Still, yeah, no,
in the
literally.
fungus, in the
Literally.
Pretty
fungus.
much, yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah.
I think the worst part about it, even from the viewer standpoint, one thing you can't really grasp around is the smell. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because when someone walks out of a room and the lingering trail of smell that follows them,
That's fucking gross.
that is, that's
That's
horrendous.
bad.
Outside, we used to smoke cigarettes, right? Like
Yeah.
all of us, right? And his smell was overpowering over the cigarettes.
No.
And I'm talking like 5,
Ew.
6, 7, 9 people smoking cigarettes at one time in
Dear
a small
God.
group. Like,
That's
and it
awful.
was overpowering over the cigarettes. Like,
I can't even
that
imagine. Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, did any of you say like, dude, we gotta talk? Like, you gotta fucking take a shower. You gotta clean your shit up.
we tried to, we
Yeah.
tried to, eventually, God bless him, he was removed from the situation.
Invited to leave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Invited to leave.
but we had to pay the price from the landlord when it came time
Yeah.
to flipping it, which sucked, but
True.
we knew it,
It was coming.
it was awful.
All right, so you had one roommate that stunk like shit. And was this kind of in the interim of your roommate experiences towards the end? Like,
Kind of towards the end.
okay,
Yeah. I was like 23, 24.
okay,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you had some experience before that.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been a rude awakening.
yeah. All right, so I'm sure the viewers are wanting to know the tea. So give it to us straight. So not the worst roommate story, but
Yeah, lead in with one that's mild, and then we'll get to the
we'll get to
nit and gritty.
the real tea.
Okay. So my first real roommate I ever had. This was in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I was 18. This was like 2007, 2008. And from Boise, Idaho, going to school up there. I was trying to find anything cheap, anywhere I could live. Didn't really know anything about the area geographically.
Yeah.
So I found a pretty cheap place in like South Seattle, which I'm sure now is like probably completely redeveloped.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which is great.
Gentrification comes in.
Yeah.
People, remodel, fix places up. It looks fancy now. Yeah.
Exactly. Put in Whole Foods, the whole 9
Yeah.
yards.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
at the time, like it was definitely a culture shock for me. But again, like I was going to school, I was working, and like it was just a place to kind of sleep. But got this guy through a friend of a friend living up there who needed a place to live, and I was like, great. Like it was still kind of expensive for me, but it was in this really kind of crappy area, and so he knew the area, right? And he didn't really give me any heads up, and so about the time he moved in, we had a new upstairs neighbor move in.
Mhm.
She was probably 20,
Okay.
and she came with this gentleman who had a bright green, flossy, all completely redone, like Cadillac Coupe de Ville,
Sweet.
and each wheel was different bag and brand of Skittles. So the back left one was sour, green, with Skittles logo, everything. And then
Interesting.
regular, red bag,
Yeah.
tropical, purple, or whatever, so on and
The
so on.
design of the
feel-
packaging.
Perfectly. On these
Interesting.
wheels,
I
right?
feel like he's a drug dealer.
Yeah, and so he's a big gentleman, very big.
Yeah.
Had all gold teeth.
This is painting the picture perfectly.
And about the time that they moved in, they were at the bottom of the stairs. So the stairs went up, concrete stairs. I was on the bottom floor, so we had to walk by the bottom of the stairs to go around them to get into where I lived.
Yeah.
They're at the bottom of the stairs with some dice and some cash, and again, man, I was 18, straight out of Boise, Idaho, never really been anywhere. I'm thinking they're just playing Yahtzee for money. You know, I'm like, this is great.
Shit.
Turns out, obviously not Yahtzee for money, but he stops me, this gentleman. He says, hey. I said, hi. How are you doing? I said,
what's going
cool.
on,
I
man?
said, cool car. You
Yeah.
know, like, I love Skittles, dude. Like,
Yeah.
cool, right? He said, well, that's my nickname, Skittles. I was like, man, that makes sense. Well, you got your brand down perfectly. And so he ends up saying, well, you know, me and my girl just moved in upstairs. You a snitch. And so I'm
Right
like,
out of
You're
the
like,
gates.
wow,
right,
that
yeah,
escalated
exactly. And he's
quick.
got all these
Shit.
other dudes around him too. So, you know, I'm like, I've seen CSI Miami. I know how to answer this question.
I've seen CSI
You know, I'm like,
Miami.
no way, man. No, not me. No, not at all. He's like, all right, well, you know, just to make sure, you can sample. You can sample, but you know, after the sample, you gotta pay. And was like, all right. So I go in there, right? And so this
So this is how he gets fucking kids hooked.
well, yeah. So I go in there. I'm like, hey, man, new guy outside told me this. To my new roommate who had just moved in. Like I said, I didn't know him because I wish Chilla was around at that point because I would have easier access to finding like a better roommate. And so I literally knew almost nothing about this kid I was living with. He goes, oh yeah, okay, cool, like right on. And you know, as they've moved in, first week, notice that sounds above, you know, there's a lot of sex going on, which I'm like, all right, you know, this is what happens. Part of, you know.
This is Skittles. This is his MO.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, you know, apartment living, right?
Exactly.
Chalked it up.
Yeah, thin walls, close proximity.
Thin walls, lots of that. And so about a week goes by, and she just comes on downstairs, and she knocks on the door with some party favors. And me and this guy that, you know, I was living with, we're just kicking it with her on the couch, and we're just kind of hanging out, and they are like getting along a lot more than like I was contributing,
Right.
which was fine.
A little standoffish. You know the vibe, what's going on.
Yeah, it was
Basically, the pimp's sending her in as the bait to give away the Skittles, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking when she leaves, all right, that was the sample, right? She brought some party favors, you know. I'm like, all right, cool, got that out of the way. And so as time goes on, I notice that my roommate is missing at night a lot more. Yeah. And so I'm like, maybe he's got a girlfriend or like he's seeing somebody else, whatever, no big deal. And he didn't have a car. So I couldn't designate when he was going to be home or when he wasn't going to be home.
Good point, yeah.
But obviously sounds above, still going on. And so one time I didn't even see him for like, this was probably start of the second month he had been living there. The beginning of that month, I didn't see him for like 4 days straight, which was a little, you know,
kind of
odd for that time.
Yeah.
And I also didn't hear any sounds going on above. So I'm like, whatever, you know, it's not a big deal. I didn't really think too much of it until one day Skittles knocks on my door. And he's got his hands behind his back.
Oh, my God.
And he's grinning, all his teeth, gold teeth showing, right? And I said, how's it going, man? And he's still smiling. And honestly, act of God, I don't know how it happened, but he swung this baseball bat and barely missed over my head. Like the whole entire wood of the frame shattered, like
on the door
molding,
frame,
of the molding of it shattered.
Fuck.
And I then obviously fight or flight, completely taken over.
Yeah, because you ain't taking Skittles.
Yeah, and so I back up into the apartment, and he's coming forward. He hasn't taken another swing yet, but he's trying to reach out and grab me because he's a big guy, you know, and I'm not the biggest guy.
Yeah,
so
you just scurry away.
Yeah, and so
holy shit.
I turn towards the back door where the glass door is, you know?
Yeah.
And I run towards this glass door, right? And I hear him take another swing. There goes my TV right behind me. You know?
Oh, my God.
There goes my TV. And I open this glass door, and I just start running. I don't even shut it behind me, right? But I can hear him yelling, and like, man, I was fast. Like, I was quick.
Fight or flight.
Yeah, and I was out of there.
Yeah.
So I heard him screaming, yeah, that's right, don't ever come back. So...
Well, that's kind of hard. You live there.
Right. So I went to a buddy's house, right? The only close friend I had at the time there. Stayed that night there and the next day almost.
Yeah.
And about like 5, 6 o'clock that next day, I get a call from the leasing dude at the apartment. He says, hey, man, we need you to come down here and answer some questions. And I'm like,
oh, Jesus,
great.
this is getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I'm like, great, sure. You know, so I'm obviously just tripping because, like, I'm like, wow, I told this guy I'm not going to snitch. And I was like, but I'm, like, rationalizing. I don't even really know what's going on up there.
Yeah,
you know?
why is he even swinging a fucking baseball bat at me?
Yeah, it's like, I can only talk about that. And
meanwhile, I'm trying to process, like, 4 days prior to that, silence.
Yeah, completely. So
Okay.
I get there, right? Get there to the leasing office, right? It's this young kid, and he's like, "We need you to take what's left in your apartment and leave, but we need to process this with the police first." So they come in and they bring this folder, right?
Yeah.
They've got me in their little conference room in the leasing office, and they're saying, "Have you seen this man? It's Skittles." I said, "Yeah." They said, "Do you know what his name is?" I said, "I only know him by Skittles."
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're like, "Okay." And they say, "Have you seen this woman?" And I said, "Yes, upstairs." And they said, "All right, well, they've been part of a huge prostitution ring.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck.
shit.
And there has been some issues with
your roommate.
with this area. And we think this guy is like part of a huge thing. And so we have arrested him, and he is now talking, and he's naming all the people that he employed, and one that he can't find is this girl. Do you have any idea where she might be?" I said, "No, but I can tell you they both went
Seen my roommate.
missing around the same time." And they said,
Yeah.
"All right, that's great. Thank you for the information." So that was it. That was all.
Yeah.
So I'm looking back, he definitely went a little farther than sampling the product, and the sampling the product was not just party favors, obviously.
Right.
He was
She was-
sampling
She was a sample too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
He was sampling the merchandise
So he either took her or they both fell in love,
Took off.
and
hopefully
ran.
they're
Your ex
hap-
roommate ran off with a prostitute
Oh yeah, and hopefully
whose
they're
pimp was
happily
getting
ever
arrested.
after.
And hopefully, if you're listening today, Jimmy Bob.
The thing I was thinking about too is like when you first mentioned that she's been gone for 4 days, I'm obviously thinking murder,
Yeah.
like 101.
No, see, I didn't. But he's
Who
really bad
knows?
at guessing movies and stories, and I was definitely thinking that. I actually thought you were going to say that his roommate was upstairs. The Skittles was the pimp, and your roommate was upstairs, like fucking her for like paying him.
Yeah,
And then that's what I thought.
he
at
just wasn't
first.
doing the paying part.
Oh
Yeah.
Jesus!
Yeah, so I go into the apartment, right, and they're like, "We're not going to evict you, but like you have got to,
For your own
For
safety.
your own
you
life.
got to go."
Yeah.
So I went to my apartment, and there was one chair, IKEA, right, of course, and one table, and that was it.
The
Like
whole
everything
place
was
is gutted?
gone.
Gone, everything gone,
Fuck.
Your
Yeah.
stuff, your clothes, your everything.
everything, completely gone.
Whoa.
Yeah, completely gone. Which is crazy, but I didn't really have that much stuff there either,
Still, it's your belongings,
But
right?
like I was, so at that point I was really freaking out. So I did then, if we wanted to roll into the most severe story that I can tell while we're here. So I made a really, really bad decision, right? And I was like, I have got to find a place to live. And again, if something was around that could have matched me up with some people that were maybe like me, that would
Yeah.
be fucking great.
Yeah.
Because I ended up moving in with this person that I worked with.
Where'd you meet him?
And
Oh,
at
from work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And we're all about we were about the same age. And they were like, you can come here. It's 3-bedroom apartment. We got an open room. Like it's gonna be pretty cheap. And it was actually a pretty nice apartment.
Yeah.
It really was.
This was still in Washington.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the second place I'd live in. It was a lot nicer than the first place I lived in. So whatever the baseline is, it's like a little bit
Step
above
up.
it. And so I met the other roommate there, right? Because the other roommate there, and he was this older guy. Well, older at the time. He was probably 28, maybe 29, and he told me his life story like immediately. He'd been to prison a bunch. But like he's reformed now, and he's this huge like luxury car salesman, like luxury and like high end car salesman, and like he makes all this money, and I'm like, all right, cool. And so
And really quick, this is the third roommate, not the
one you work with.
Not the
one I
colleague,
work
yeah.
with, correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
no, not the colleague.
Right.
And so I just start getting to know him, a little bit better, and the parties did not stop at that apartment,
Yeah.
which was awesome. But like, I never had to pay for anything.
Sweet.
And it just kept coming, just party, work, repeat, work, party,
Yeah.
and there was never any, hey, like, you want to chip in tonight for the party or nothing like that.
Until
No. And so at this point, I have been promoted to assistant manager at my job.
nice.
And so I was the closing manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one night, I'd been living there about 4 months, pretty comfortable, just having fun.
Having a good time, yeah.
And I take my break at work, maybe a couple hours for close. So it was like 7, maybe 6 o'clock. And I go to this little pizza place next, nearby. And I'm the only person in this pizza restaurant, right? Me and the employee. And I got my little paper plate with some slices. And they've got a big screen TV in there, right? But it's on mute and no subtitles for it. But it's on, the news is on.
Oh, God.
And I'm just like, kind of zoning out, just watching it, not really paying that much attention. And
like
I
a
see
movie.
these big letters come across the screen say, breaking, exclusive, right? And then it cuts to this other lady on the TV screen. And she says, and she's just talking, and I'm like, I'm trying to
You're like, can you turn this shit on?
Yeah, no,
like,
I'm trying to make it out. And then it breaks to another few letters that says, gang violence. And I'm like, all right, like still fresh Boise, Idaho kid. And then it starts flashing these images on the screen that are absolutely horrifying, right? And so now the pizza guy, right? Yeah. He's got the remote and he takes it off mute and it's blaring loud. And it says, we are looking for 2 children, 1 infant and 1 4-year-old. And it shows the pictures of them abducted, not missing, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, this took a hard left.
On this day. And it was that day.
Yeah.
Like
within
that,
hours
just
before.
happened.
Within, breaking news, right?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, shit, like this is crazy. It said, police are looking for this suspected male. And it pops up this sketch. And it is a 100% accurate sketch of the dude that I'm fucking living with. Oh. And the pizza and my paper plate went all over myself.
Oh.
Right? And I get up and I leave. I leave the store, and like when I also left the pizza place, I called my parents and I said, hey, I can't tell you like what's going on, but I'm coming home. Yeah. I was like, I'm coming home.
Like this place is gonna kill me. This state's gonna fucking kill me.
Yeah. Whoa. I was like, I'm out of here. And they're like, okay. And so I never, no, I shouldn't say never, but when I came home, I didn't say anything. They didn't really even ask either. I ended up telling them a long time,
later on. Wait, but you gotta go. You gotta take a step back. So did your roommate at the time murder these people and steal these kids?
I'm not 100% sure what the connection was.
So you never went back to the house?
No, never.
You never set foot back in that house?
I never went back.
I don't blame you for a second.
I got in my car. I didn't even give notice on my job, of course. I didn't even get notice.
You panicked.
So I remember the pizza falling in my lap and not giving a shit, and absolutely terrified. 19, right. At this point I was like 19. And I remember calling my parents saying that. And the next thing I remember, can vividly remember, is being at the Dalles, Oregon, driving. I completely blacked out leaving on I-5.
Like you left that night?
I left immediately. I left
from the pizza shop.
From the pizza shop.
I didn't go back to close. I left. I was gone.
Whoa.
I was like,
well, you were probably already that was only, 3 or 4 months after Skittles.
Yeah. I had this whole
4 months later, yeah.
I mean, that's that's some intense shit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's one of those times where you're like, where am I living? What
yeah,
is
like
this place?
what?
Well, so a year later, right? This is not like a crazy conclusion, but it's definitely funny. Year later, I am at home, just loving the comfort of Boise, Idaho. Loving the safety, loving my mom and dad's house. And I'm downstairs watching something like one of those it's like Gangland or something, right? And watching it with my mom, who's not really watching it. She's doing her own thing. Can't remember what she's doing.
Yeah.
But it starts this episode brand new, and it's like, tonight, the most dangerous neighborhood in America. And I'm like, all right, this is going to be fucking cool, And the guy starts narrating, it's like this seemingly suburban area in the Pacific Northwest. And I'm like, okay. And in the background, as he's narrating, right, there's images, right, of this area in this neighborhood, right? And I turned the TV off when there was a still image of the apartment complex that I fucking live in. Yeah. It was like a still image, and I was like, that's it. I was like, that's the place. I was like, this is the last apartment complex
That
I
is
lived in
priceless.
at this place. Like, I was like, that's it.
Oh my God.
So it's
Wait, where was this in Washington?
So it
South
was
Seattle.
South Seattle.
South Seattle.
Southwest.
It's like the
Seattle.
Southeast of South Seattle.
Yeah. And
Oh,
so
Like
at the
the Southie
time,
Detroit Southeast, right? Like
Yeah.
it's oh my God.
at the time it
Whoa.
actually had the most Bloods and Crips over Compton and over the East Coast.
And you didn't know this? Just like some white, like
No,
middle-sized kid from Boise, Idaho, just
A little naive.
That
and
is
that's okay.
legitimately how it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So naive. Yeah.
You could have been walking
100%.
down the street wearing a San Francisco 49ers shirt, and
Yeah.
somebody's
they're
like,
"What's up, bitch?"
"What's up with you? There's certain colors you can't wear."
Yeah.
Oh man,
I had no idea, man. I had no idea.
That's like us telling our parents if we were like, "Yeah, we're gonna move to East Oakland. We're just gonna."
Which is like you said earlier with the gentrification. Now it's actually pretty nice.
Yeah,
Probably,
now it's
yeah.
nicer,
Or nicer,
but nicer,
or
but
even Compton or something like that. Some really rough
yeah, we're just
neighborhood.
gonna go move. Oh my God, what a
Whoa.
trip!
Yeah, it was 100% like the craziest thing ever. And so, yeah, I ended up telling my parents years later, like, how my mom was just all tears, you know.
Of course,
My dad
baby.
was just like, he's like, don't you think you should have taken the high road and like turned the guy in? And I was like, well, fuck yeah. I mean,
but in the
now
moment,
You're
I
like,
mean,
yeah, now, but
yeah.
now I'm not 19 and pissing my pants with pizza all over my fucking trousers.
legitimately so scared that that night I was like, I'm out of here.
and you also got to think anybody who's in that position would kind of assume that you'd be what do they call it, an accomplice? Like you'd have to go through.
You're just a kid. You just right, like okay. In hindsight's 2020, right? Like, of course you should have, and you probably now are like, damn it, I probably should have. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully those kids got found. But like,
Yeah.
what? As a
Wow.
kid, as a 19-year-old, first of all, I don't even think your frontal lobe is fully developed. So let's just start
no,
there.
especially not
Like
for
you
me.
just make shit. You just make shit fucking decisions. Period.
Yeah.
But like I would have panicked, like Steven's saying, right? Like, am I going to be an accomplice if I come home and these kids are fucking there? Like, is he going to gut my ass? Like
Yeah,
you said,
exactly.
like
Yeah.
what?
Fuck.
Dude, I didn't think we could have gotten worse than Skittles and Trixie, and we got worse than Skittles and Trixie.
Yeah, I mean, legitimately, it was the most terrifying moment of my life, probably. Like one that I'd put myself in too. You know, it wasn't like freak accident.
Like these were
or
your
whatever.
roommates. Like these are
plane
people.
crash
Yeah.
accident. You know, like this
Yeah.
was something I was like, I made a conscious decision, and
To live
looking
with these
back,
people.
like I had a lot of red flags. You know, in that scenario where I was like, okay, we're getting all this stuff for free, like all this party shit for free. Like this should have known, right?
Something, yeah.
Yeah,
Shoulda
but
known
again,
someone was
19, right?
affiliated or something like that.
Yeah,
but-
free beer at
Shit.
19. Nobody's gonna really ask too many questions. Like, sure, I'll have a beer.
Well, I gotta say that rolls us right into we gotta give it up to our sponsors.
Yeah.
Because our podcast, Roommate Confessions, this entire podcast is sponsored by Chillo, which is an app that helps you find roommates and places to live, credible roommates that
Background
you don't
checks.
want to kill.
Yeah.
Or that don't want to kill you in your circumstances, and obviously places to live. So, on this app, and I mean, Jesus, if you would have had something like this, right? I mean, granted, you met one of these guys through like work, right?
Yeah.
But there's so many people who are moving state lines or moving just even in their own state right now who really have no idea just looking at this person on Facebook Marketplace with a little picture of
Or
themselves
Craigslist or anything.
and their dog.
Referral from a colleague at work.
Yeah, like we've some of our shittiest roommate scenarios were actually referrals of friends and colleagues from work, right? Like, so just to have a trusted platform where people can go and see that people have cleared background checks, ID checks, they are who they say they are, roommate endorsements from previous roommates on what it was like to live with them. Like, it's a roommate, it's a whole roommate platform. And obviously, if you're looking for that place to live as well. So, got to give it out to Chillo.
Yeah. And you gave him a shout out a little earlier, so thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
With background checks, ID verification, the ability to have credibility and feedback, like a resume. Someone can say,
Game
okay,
changer.
you can live with this guy, but hey, I had the experience living with this guy or girl, and this is what my experience was like living with
And
them.
his name was Skittles, and he wasn't a great fucking roommate.
Yeah.
He actually was like a dope dealing pimp. So
Yeah, I'm not going to endorse Skittles today.
yeah, I'm not gonna endorse Skittles today. Good shit. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that
that's
is
good
some
stuff.
crazy. I mean, I gotta say, Charlotte talked you up, but I was not expecting that. I was
I
like,
didn't know what was going to come down the pipe there.
I hope the camera was on my face because I was like the whole time just staring at it with my mouth just open. I was like, where is this gonna go?
I'm sure one of the
like,
free stills is going to be like,
or
your jaw was dropped halfway.
I just was like,
about halfway through that story. Like,
It just right when you said the breaking news came on, I'm like, this fucking guy did something crazy, but I didn't know gut two fucking parents and steal the kid over some, like, guy wearing a blue jersey. Shit. Oh, my God.
Whatever it might have been, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. Glad you're alive.
Hey, thanks. Yeah,
No
me too.
kidding.
Yeah, glad you're alive. We do have, so for those that are listening, and obviously for you too, Alex, we have a call-in line. People that can share their own roommate confessions. Obviously, we can't have everyone on the platform, though we'd love to, or on the podcast. But we did have, so for those that are listening right now, let's go ahead and for those that are interested in sharing their own roommate horror story and calling in, feel free to call us at 650-271-9641 and share your roommate horror story. We're going to actually listen to one right now, and this one actually happened to be on TikTok. So we're going to shout out the person who shared it on TikTok, but we're going to go ahead and give it a listen.
And on that note, you never know what anybody else has dealt with in the living environment under a shared housing under the same roof. Oh, so anyway, yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
I was talking to my therapist the other day, and she told me that I am quite literally living through a traumatizing experience right now, and that I am constantly living in fight or flight mode. So basically, I have a roommate from hell. I sublease a room in a shared apartment with this woman, and she is the most terrifying person ever. So it's like nearly 11 o'clock at night. I just got out of the shower, and the whole time I was in the shower, I could hear her like pacing up and down the hallway and outside the bathroom door. She'd like come up to it, like put her hand on the door, and then go like, and then like storm back into her room. So I thought, okay, maybe she has to pee really bad. I hurried to get out of the bathroom, like didn't even finish drying myself off, just wrapped myself in a towel and was like, okay, she needs to come in here. So I opened the bathroom door to head back towards my room, and it is pitch black in the apartment. So that's when I hear her charge at me. She is like full speed storming towards me. My heart was beating so fast, I was just trying to find my door handle and get in my room and close the door like as quickly as possible. So she is like a foot away from me at this point. My room is right by the bathroom, so we're like right there. She speeds into the bathroom and slams the door. I could hear her talking, but I couldn't really make out like what she was saying. I was terrified to even go back into the bathroom to like brush my teeth or moisturize because I just did not want to have this happen again. I took like a 5-minute shower, didn't even wash my hair, and the whole time she was doing that up and down the hallway, going up to the door, like touching the handle, like obviously I knew she was there, like she was doing that on purpose. And then to like not even say a word when I opened the door, but to storm at me, like that's horrifying. This is just one example of many. I got a lock on my bedroom door, so I'm feeling like much better about sleeping at night now and just protecting my privacy. Literally anytime I leave my room, that door is locked. Like I have my keys right next to me. Moral of the story is to know who you're moving in with before you move in with them. Don't be like me.
Oh my God. That one was... If you have to get a lock on your bedroom door to be okay with sleeping at night, like, and that was, let's see, that was her. She's what's up Waltz, and if you follow her on TikTok, she has insane. I mean, she's like the girl version of you, Alex. Like she has insane fucking stories, and just that one alone, like. I mean, could you imagine? We had somebody come in here and call on one of our lines and share their story about how they would take showers and their roommate, he caught him watching him.
Yeah, check this out. So one point in time or another, he asked to see his roommate's phone. When he has the phone, he clicks on the photos, which he sees the video, which is the first one that pops up. Uh-huh. So he clicks on it because he recognizes the door to the bathroom. He's like, what the fuck? Like, I have my own bathroom. He had his, and okay. So when he sees the door, now there's multiple clips on the video feed of the whatever, the app, where you can see there's the front door of the bathroom. But he clicks on the first one. The guy opens the door. He's showering, and what he does, he takes the phone as he's filming and puts it over the shower curtain.
Oh. So, but he didn't know this. He didn't know this.
Not until he sees the guy's phone.
Yeah, because one day he said, because again, this was a call-in. So we had a guest. This was a call-in on our podcast on the 650 number, call-in number, and he's telling this story, and he says, and I didn't know shit because I asked the guy to use his phone. I think he was calling to find his phone or something, just use it. And he said it was on his photos, and he saw himself in the shower on his camera roll. And he was like, what the fuck is this? And he said he opens it up.
He calls the guy out.
He opens it up, and he watches him getting filmed in the shower. And so he calls the guy out, and the guy says...
He goes, dude, I just wanted to make sure that you were bathing properly.
What? Wow, that's actually not a bad response.
Yeah,
I mean, it's terrible, but like, what do you say?
Of all the things.
Like, hey, I have this really weird fetish, or like, how I'm making sure you're washing your hair right, dude.
Yeah.
Just look out.
Yeah. So like that's some weird ass
Like
weird
I couldn't even
shit.
think of a better response. Like I was just gonna pull a prank on you one day.
There you
You
go.
caught me
Hey,
before
yeah.
I could pull the prank. But that's even creepier than that.
Yeah.
It is.
Fuck.
That's what Steven said as his excuse when his friend caught him recording
right.
him in the shower.
That's right. Yeah.
Bro, it was
What,
just
is
I was
another
gonna put a
person
prank.
inside
No,
that?
no,
I
she's
was making a
messing.
joke.
She's messing.
Yeah, wait, we were like, wait, what?
We've had some wild roommate stories, but nothing to that extent.
Not to that extent, but this
and
girl.
nothing to your extent either.
No. And this girl, What's Up Waltz on TikTok, right? Some of hers are absolutely insane. I'm sure we'll play some of her stuff in the future and not give it all away now in terms of tea. But that one, I think just as a woman in general, where there's just like this whole culture of like being murdered in the shower, and it started with, what is it? Psycho.
Yeah.
Dude, there's some, every time I'm in the shower, I'm all, every time it'll be my dog, and I'm like, I'm freaking out, right? And I haven't seen that fucking movie in I don't even know how long, but it's just CSI Miami, right? Another woman murdered in the shower,
In the
you know,
shower,
like
right?
it's just like some, so with her though, could you imagine being a woman or not? And you've got this room, like you guys couldn't see it, but by the way, she on the screen says that she's 26 and her roommate is 56.
Oh.
And
Wow.
so her roommate.
Oh, that was one of the captions.
It's,
that popped
yeah,
up?
on the video that you guys can't see because we're listening to it, but the viewers can see it if they're watching. And so you got this 56-year-old potential crackhead woman who's living with you because she's pacing and she's putting her hand on the door and she's trying to come through the bathroom door, breathing heavily at the door. And you're in the shower, and then you're so freaked out that when you get in the towel and open the door, she charges at you.
It's pitch black outside in the hallway.
Like, what? I mean,
That's like a horror movie.
I feel like it was almost like downplayed. Like, that's some.
Oh, another thing was really cool, and I know you didn't see the video initially. The viewers will, but while she's telling this whole story, she's doing her makeup in the bathroom.
Oh,
That's what I think is even cooler is the way she told the story. In the background, she's doing the eyelashes and she's doing the makeup.
Where the crime
she's
took
putting the stuff on her
place.
nose. She's literally doing it with the shower like behind her, right?
Right. Little do we know, she probably just got out of the shower 5 minutes ago and her roommate's listening to her film this, right? So it comes down to what would you rather, right? Who would you rather live with? We play this game. Who would you rather live with? Skittles?
The child abductor.
The child abductor murderer? Or the kook
From Scream.
from, Scream or Psycho?
So Psycho, that's it.
Who would you rather live with?
Probably take the child abductor to get redemption and do the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
But
Hey.
also the woman outside the bathroom, man, Sixth Sense scared me as like so bad as
Right?
a kid. And I pictured when she's telling that story, the part with the mom, you know, where
Yes.
like the dead mom, or she's
That's
in the
right.
bathrobe and he's taking a pee and like she's doing that.
That's
and then
right.
turns around and she's
Sick.
she's slit her wrists, you know, like that is what I pictured. And
Oh,
having to
yeah.
actually live with that, and when you said the age of the woman, it solidified the scene.
You're right.
In
That
my
the
head.
one, yes.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah,
I
the
couldn't
look
do
on your
that.
face when I said she was 56, it was like you had seen a ghost.
Yeah, no,
You were
I
like-
couldn't do that. Yeah.
I was like, dude, are you good? Like, did you have a 56-year-old terrorize you as a kid? What's going on? Because you could tell the look on your face just completely changed, probably because you were looking for like, oh no, shit, that's like literally her.
You just confirmed the affirmation I didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so I guess mine is going to be different than your guys's because I am a woman, so I couldn't become a high-paid prostitute for Skittles, and that's what would happen if I ended up living with Skittles.
I don't know how. I would love to know how you would react if you were asked. You're not a snitch, right?
I mean, at 19,
I would love to see your reaction.
I just
No, motherfucker, I'm not no snitch.
yeah, probably at 19, I probably would have been a psychopath. I'd probably been like, why? What do I need to snitch about?
No, you'd probably be like, you're not gonna snitch on me, right?
Yeah, right. My head just starts turning all the way around.
But honestly, that's a good answer. That's a
Okay,
good
so I
answer.
could,
You
yes,
could have gone, like you said, gone back, done the redemption.
I love that.
He gets what he deserves.
yeah. Fuck that
Maybe
guy.
you still be living for a little while longer in Seattle area.
Dude, that's a Liam Neeson movie. Like, we should just go find him now. Fuck it.
Find you.
Thank you, viewers, for listening today. We're gonna go get some redemption.
Good luck.
Good luck out there, east, or what is it? South
Southwest
South
Seattle.
Seattle.
Southwest.
We're gonna be on the loose. No, but so okay, for me, who would I rather live with? I thought yours was great. For me, I wouldn't want to become a prostitute, and if I lived with Skittles, that's how the route would have had to go. It sounds like you had a really good time living with them up until that point, and I think you made it out of there scotch-free, but I think had you stayed like a month or two longer, I think you would have either been in some deep-ass shit, like something would have happened.
Bingo, yeah,
For sure.
true.
So you got out scotch-free, but I can't say that would have happened to me, right? Like, that wouldn't have worked out the same way for everybody. So given that circumstance where he potentially was the murderer of the parents and took the kids, I'm going to have to go with the woman only because I have a better chance of, if it came down to a fight, like I could take her. That's probably
You'd
it.
also probably
That's
be direct
solid.
enough to like tell her like,
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm in the bathroom. Go away.
But that type of shit, like, I'm kind of like you. That type of shit scares me.
Yeah.
Like, that
don't
brings
blame
me
you.
to some weird, like, what are you doing? Like, weird, uncomfortable energy. Like, I'm kind of like, like, maybe I do take the murderer or the pimp, But at least I could take this 56-year-old woman, right? I don't think I could take Skittles. He sounds like he's got 200 pounds on me. So, no. All right. Who would you rather live with?
Oh, that's a good question.
With this shirt, I'm going to guess Skittles.
You know, like
That's a CSI Miami shirt right
That
there.
is.
it
Hey.
is CSI Miami shirt.
It
Yeah.
is. All you need is a badge.
I'm trying to think really long and hard.
I'm thinking really long and hard.
The thing I'm thinking about with the woman is like I do believe that you want to be in a living environment with someone who has a similar lifestyle and quite frankly is somewhat similar in age to you. There are those people, of course, live with those who are a little bit older or a little bit younger than them, and that's quite all right. But there is a compatibility factor that is somewhat tarnished when you have such a different life experience and different age gap in what you've lived through.
So you take the murderer or the pimp over a 56-year-old woman?
The reason
Because
why
of the age gap?
The reason why I would probably I agree with you. I would go with the child abductor because what you described, everything leading up to that, seemed to be enjoyable and, like, again, work and party.
Yeah.
But the moment that shit hit the fan, you did a good job of just escaping, just separating
Yeah.
yourself from that and, like, I am out. So in that case, what you experienced, aside from the pizza shop moment, was enjoyable to a certain
Right.
extent. And that's why I agree with you. I'd
All
take
right.
the child abductor.
You guys are some sick freaks out
Some
there.
people, though, that's what I was trying to say. Is some people are so, like, literally, I guess psychopath is the correct term.
Yeah.
That, like, for months, it seemed like, wow, we're having a great time. Complete personable guy.
Yeah.
Like, totally got along. So wild, man. That,
But
like,
they said,
one day.
But they said gang activity,
Mhm.
and then there was horrific, like, murder shots, right?
Oh, very,
So,
very
but okay,
explicit
so did he have a
images.
teardrop?
No.
Did he wear certain colors?
No.
Was
No.
he? What kind of style?
Like,
What did this guy
yeah,
look like?
this is-
Honestly, like,
White guy, black guy, Mexican guy?
mixed for sure. It was
Okay.
mixed. But he had literally it was cargo shorts and tall white tees. So
Okay.
I mean, like, could have been
Could've been
any,
any-
could
any-
have been
Yeah.
any side, of it.
Yeah,
and,
true.
And
Interesting.
like you said, he was reformed. Maybe like some happened.
Oh, that's right, 'cause
Where
he
he
did
had to
prison
get
time.
where he had to get back in, or like, to be honest with you, I
Someone
have
made a
no-
call from the inside
or
and said,
something,
"Take
man.
care of this for me."
something.
Oh, something
Yeah.
went down.
Yeah.
And he had a distinct enough look
You
that
recognize the drawing.
that sketch. There was no way he had a
Oh.
decent enough look that was him.
Oh yeah, and that was a total like moment in time where there was no other person in the
Yeah.
world that could have been. 'Cause,
It
I
stopped.
did-
Like your
yeah.
moment, your world like stopped spinning for a second.
100% without a doubt. Not these like weird. They had a badass sketch artist. That's all I have to say.
Obviously, yeah,
Yeah.
because
Some
you
of these-
recognize the guy right away.
Immediately.
Wow.
And I'm sure I'm not the only person. Hopefully.
Yeah, he's like,
Somebody
this is
else
what I
stepped
say to
up.
make myself feel better.
Somebody else stepped up. But
Did you ever look to see how it just? Have you ever just done a Google search to see how it closed with the
No.
kids? You
Mm-mm.
can't bring yourself to do it.
No, I mean, man. So I'm still kind of, I don't want to say close, but like,
Acquaintances?
the other person,
Yeah.
the work person, right?
Yeah.
A few years back, found me on social media.
Oh,
And I'm
shit.
thinking, all right, here may be the close of the story, but nothing like that. It was just like a simple follow back, like, hey,
Yeah.
I knew this person at one point in time. We exchanged like messages like, hey, how's it going? That's
Yeah.
it. But like, no, like,
And he
address the
didn't bring it
issue.
up.
No address to the issue.
So maybe it wasn't him.
I don't know.
You would think if the other roommate who was still living there would be like, dude, I got home and there was these two fucking kids in my living room. But then again, no, it was probably like an inside job or something. But I mean, if I ever find out and it ends well, I'll let you know. And if not, we won't ever talk about it again.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would have done the same shit at 19, dude. That's a scary fucking
I don't blame
situation
you
to
at
be
all.
in.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
No, thank you guys.
again
This is
for
awesome.
coming out
This is
here.
so cool.
Yes, thank you to the listeners. This is your reminder. If you like what you're hearing, follow us, like us on wherever you listen to your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. Roommate Confessions. Go follow us on Instagram at Roommate Confessions. And of course, for those that are listening and haven't had a chance to be on the podcast but are super interested and want to call in with their roommate horror story, give us a call. Again, a reminder, the number is 650-271-9641. Give us a call. We'll share your roommate horror stories or give you a chance to be featured on the app or on the podcast. And again, a shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah.
Chillo, follow them, give them a shout out, follow them on Instagram, go check them out, download their app. If you are looking for an avoidable situation like the ones you heard today, download the Chillo app on Google Play if you got an Android or iOS App Store for those with an Apple phone. Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks again,
everybody.
Alex.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, Alex.